Welcome to Everyday English Pod. Today, we're going to be talking about something we all experience every single day. The weather.
Yeah, weather and seasons, something that seems so basic, right?
Totally. But, you'd be surprised how much it comes up in conversation, especially in American English. It's like a universal icebreaker.
Absolutely. Think about it. You meet someone new. What's one of the first things you might chat about?
Exactly. You're probably not going to launch into deep philosophical debates right off the bat.
Right. You're more likely to say something like, wow, it's a gorgeous day out there, isn't it? Or, man, this rain just won't let up.
And boom, you've got a conversation going.
It's such an easy, comfortable way to connect, especially here in the U.S.
No pressure, everyone gets it. But you know what I've noticed?
What's that?
To really keep those conversations flowing, you've got to go beyond just saying, nice weather, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Describing it in more detail, that's the key.
Instead of just, it's nice out. You could say something like, it's a bright sunny day, perfect for a walk in the park.
Exactly. Or, there's a crispness in the air this morning. Feels like fall is really here.
Yeah, that's what brings the conversation to life.
You're painting a picture with your words, making it more engaging.
And once you've got that going, it's a natural segue into sharing your own experiences and preferences.
Like, I love these crisp fall days. They make me want to go apple picking.
Or, I'm not a fan of this humidity. Makes me want to stay inside with the AC blasting.
Right. That's how you make the conversation more personal.
And don't forget about questions.
Oh, yeah. Those are essential.
Instead of just talking about your own preferences, ask, what about you? Do you like this kind of weather? Or what's your favorite season?
That shows you're genuinely interested in the other person.
And keeps that conversation flowing.
And one thing that always strikes me is how those simple questions can actually reveal a lot about someone.
You mean like their personality?
Yeah, and maybe even their values. Someone who loves spending time outdoors in nature might have different priorities than someone who prefers staying cozy inside.
That's a great point. And it shows that even though talking about the weather seems really basic, it can lead to some surprisingly interesting conversations.
Absolutely. And, it's not just about the words you use, it's also about how you react to what the other person is saying.
Oh, yeah, those little nods, those I know, right moments.
Exactly. Those little affirmations go a long way. They show you're actively listening.
And it encourages the other person to keep sharing.
Makes them feel heard.
All right, so we've covered the basics of how to strike up a conversation about the weather.
And how to make it more engaging.
Now let's talk about seasons. Because here in America, seasons are a big deal.
Oh, yeah. Each one brings its own unique vibe.
Definitely. And just like with day-to-day weather, you can use seasons as a great conversation starter.
Like fall is my absolute favorite. The colors, the crisp air, can't beat it.
Or, I'm so ready for summer, all those beach days.
And then you can go deeper, ask, what about you? What's your favorite season?
And you can even compare, like, summer here is pretty mild compared to down south.
Right, or winters are much snowier where I grew up. Those kind of comparisons can really get people talking.
Especially if they're from a different part of the country.
Totally. And those conversations about seasons often lead to discussions about traditions and activities.
Like winter's the time for skiing and snowboarding up north.
Or spring is all about baseball season. You start connecting weather and seasons to specific experiences.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Because it's not just about the weather itself anymore, it's about how it shapes our lives.
So talking about the weather and seasons, it's not just small talk.
It's a way to connect, share experiences, and learn about different perspectives. And you know what else?
What's that?
Sometimes those simple conversations can even lead to deeper insights about ourselves and the world around us.
Yeah, I love that. It's like finding those unexpected connections in everyday life.
Exactly.
And now, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be diving even deeper into how to use weather and seasons to boost your American English skills.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Everyday English Pod. We're talking all things weather and seasons, how to incorporate those topics into your everyday American English conversations.
And we were just discussing how these seemingly simple conversations can sometimes take you in unexpected directions.
Right. Like you might start talking about the heat, and suddenly you're sharing tips on how to stay cool.
Exactly. Like, man, it is hot out there. I'm thinking about hitting up the pool later. What do you do to beat the heat?
Or, this cold snap has me bundled up in layers. What's your favorite winter jacket?
Those practical questions can be really helpful.
And they keep the conversation going naturally. But, one thing I've noticed is that You've got to adjust your tone depending on who you're talking to.
Oh, definitely.
Like with close friends, you can be more casual, maybe even complain a little bit like, ugh, this rain is killing me.
Yeah, totally. But in a more formal setting, you might say, it appears we're in for a bit of rain this afternoon.
Right. It's all about matching your language to the situation.
And you know what can really add some flair to your American English conversations about weather? Idioms.
You mean like raining cats and dogs?
Exactly. Or it's hotter than blazes.
I love those. They're so expressive.
But it's good to remember that not everyone might understand them, especially if they're not familiar with American English idioms. So maybe give a quick explanation if you're not sure.
Yeah, good point. You don't want to leave anyone feeling confused. Now let's talk about how weather often plays a role in our plans.
Oh, yeah, it dictates a lot of what we do.
Like, it's supposed to be beautiful this weekend, thinking about having a barbecue. What about you? Any plans?
Or that snowstorm might mess up travel plans. Are you thinking of staying put?
It's natural to factor weather into our decisions.
Absolutely. And it makes for an easy conversation starter, too. Hey, with this gorgeous weather coming up, are you planning on doing anything outdoors?
Right. You're showing interest in the other person while also talking about something relevant.
And speaking of relevance, how about those weather apps?
Oh man, we all use them now, don't we?
I'm constantly checking mine. It's become second nature.
Me too. And it's so easy to incorporate that into conversations. Like, I just checked the app and it looks like we might get some snow tonight.
Boom, instant conversation starter.
Especially if you're somewhere where snow is a big deal.
People want to know if they need to stock up on milk and bread.
Exactly.
You know, another way to make your conversations about weather more engaging is to connect it to your own hobbies and interests.
Like, I'm an avid gardener, so spring is my absolute favorite time of year.
Or, I love hiking, but this heat makes it tough to get out there.
Right. It gives the other person a glimpse into your personality.
And it might spark a conversation about their own hobbies and how weather affects them.
And you know what's always fun to talk about?
What's that?
Weather-related experiences, especially travel stories.
Oh, for sure. Those are always great.
Like, I once went on vacation to the Caribbean and we got hit by a hurricane. It was wild.
Or, I visited New York City during a blizzard. Talk about a magical experience.
Those stories make the conversation so much more memorable.
They bring the weather to life in a really personal way.
And you know what's key when someone is sharing those stories?
What's that?
To be a good listener and pick up on cues about their interests.
Oh, absolutely. If someone says they love warm weather, you might ask, what's your favorite warm weather activity?
That shows you're paying attention and genuinely interested.
And it keeps the conversation focused on them.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about extreme weather events. We do have to be sensitive here, but these events can definitely be part of conversation.
Yeah, they're often top of mind, especially if a community has been recently impacted.
You might hear something like, that hurricane was devastating. I hope everyone's okay.
Or, that heat wave was brutal. I've never experienced anything like it.
Right. It's natural to talk about those shared experiences.
And you can also ask about the typical weather challenges in someone's local area, like, does it snow a lot where you live? Or do you ever have to worry about tornadoes?
Those questions show you're interested in their environment.
And it can lead to some really insightful conversations about how people adapt to different climates and weather patterns.
It's also interesting to talk about how those extreme weather events affect our daily lives.
Like the floods caused major disruptions to transportation.
Or the power outages from the ice storm lasted for days. Those real-life impacts really bring it home.
And you know what's also helpful?
What's that?
Sharing tips for dealing with tough weather conditions. Like, during hurricane season, we always make sure to have a stocked emergency kit.
Or, when it's really hot out, staying hydrated is key. Those kind of practical tips can be really valuable.
Absolutely, and it shows you're looking out for each other.
Now, let's get a little more personal, how weather can affect our moods. It's pretty common to hear people say, rainy days make me feel cozy.
Or, sunshine always lifts my spirits.
Right. Weather can definitely have an impact on how we feel.
It can be energizing or calming, even motivating or discouraging.
And talking about those feelings can be a great way to connect with others on a deeper level.
Like, how does this gloomy weather make you feel?
Or, do you find you're more productive in the spring?
Those questions can really get people thinking.
And they show that you're interested in more than just the weather itself. You care about how it affects them.
Exactly. It adds a human element to the conversation.
All right, let's talk about how weather plays into travel, because that's often a big topic of conversation.
Oh, for sure. Weather can make or break a trip.
Right. You might hear someone say, I'm dreaming of a beach vacation where it's warm and sunny.
Or, I'd love to see the Northern Lights someday, even if it means braving the cold.
And talking about those dream trips can be so fun.
Absolutely.
Huh.
And it's also interesting to hear about unexpected weather experiences people have had while traveling. Like, I was in Rome once and it snowed. It was beautiful, but totally unexpected.
Or I went hiking in the mountains and we got caught in a sudden thunderstorm. Talk about an adventure.
Those kinds of stories make for great conversation.
And you can also talk about how weather affects the kinds of activities you can do on a trip.
Like, if it's rainy, I might spend the day exploring museums.
Or if it's sunny, a picnic in the park sounds perfect.
Right, those practical considerations always come into play.
And of course, we can't forget about the role of weather apps in travel planning.
Oh man, those are lifesavers.
But sometimes they can be a little off, right?
Absolutely. We've all had those moments where the forecast said sunny and we ended up getting drenched.
It happens to the best of us. And those mishaps can be great conversation starters too. Like, I can't believe the weather app was so wrong. I was totally unprepared.
And it's always fun to hear how people pack for different climates.
Like, do you always pack an umbrella just in case?
Or, what's your secret for staying warm in really cold weather? Those practical tips can be really helpful.
Now, let's talk about how weather influences our hobbies, because it definitely plays a role.
Oh yeah, big time.
Think about all the outdoor hobbies that are weather dependent.
Like, I love gardening, but the summer heat can be brutal.
Or surfing is my passion, but the waves are best in the winter.
Right, and those seasonal shifts often dictate how we spend our free time.
And what's interesting is how people adapt their hobbies based on the weather.
Like, I'm a runner, but in the winter, I switch to indoor workouts.
Or, when it's too hot to hike, I explore local museums instead. It's all about being flexible.
And sometimes the weather throws a curveball, making it hard to pursue our hobbies at all.
Like, I was so bummed when the rain canceled our baseball game.
Or the wind made it impossible to go kayaking.
Right, those are the downsides.
But it also makes you appreciate those perfect weather days even more.
Totally. And it's always fun to talk about those ideal conditions for your favorite hobbies. Like, a crisp fall day is perfect for a bike ride.
Or a snowy evening is ideal for curling up with a good book. It's like painting a picture of your happy place.
Now, let's talk about how weather sometimes just takes us by surprise.
You mean those unexpected changes?
Exactly. It can be a great conversation starter, like, wow, that downpour came out of nowhere.
Or I can't believe how warm it is for February. Those unexpected shifts always get people talking.
And it's interesting to compare how predictable weather is in different places.
Like here in the Midwest, the weather can change in an instant.
Right, or on the coast, you can pretty much count on fog in the morning.
And what's always a good question to ask?
What's that?
How do you usually deal with unexpected weather changes? Some people are super prepared, always carrying an umbrella.
Others just roll with it.
It's a fun way to get to know someone's personality a bit.
And speaking of unexpected weather, we got to talk about those weather apps again.
Oh, yeah, they're not always right.
Not even close sometimes.
I think we've all been fooled by a forecast at some point. Like, the app said sunny, and now I'm soaking wet.
It's a shared experience, and those stories can be hilarious. Like, I planned a whole outdoor picnic based on the forecast, and then it started hailing.
It's a good reminder to always have a backup plan.
And to take those weather apps with a grain of salt.
Definitely.
All right, let's switch gears and talk about some of the more memorable weather events that people might discuss.
Like those historic ones.
Exactly. Like, remember that huge blizzard back in '93?
Or that heat wave a few years ago was record-breaking. Those major events often become part of a region's collective memory.
And they're definitely conversation starters.
You can also talk about less dramatic but still memorable weather events like an amazing sunset.
Or a particularly beautiful snowfall. Those shared experiences bring people together.
They do. And it's also fascinating to hear about extreme weather events in other parts of the world. Like, did you hear about that typhoon in Asia?
Or those wildfires out west are devastating.
Yeah.
Those conversations raise awareness and can spark discussions about climate change.
They do. It's a way to connect with what's happening globally.
And speaking of globally, let's talk about how weather is often tied to local culture and traditions.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Like, in some cultures, they have rain dances to bring much-needed moisture.
Or, in colder climates, winter festivals are a way to celebrate the season. Weather influences how people live and celebrate.
It shapes their customs and traditions. Like, in many Asian cultures, they change their diet based on the season, eating warming foods in the winter and cooling foods in the summer.
That's fascinating, and it shows how deeply weather is woven into people's lives.
even down to what we wear.
Oh, yeah. Fashion is definitely influenced by weather.
Like, in places with harsh winters, you see a lot of fur coats and hats.
Right. Or, in tropical climates, lighter fabrics and sandals are the norm.
And holidays, too. Christmas in a snowy climate just feels different than Christmas in a warm climate.
Definitely. The weather sets the scene and influences the atmosphere.
And finally, it's amazing to think about all the different seasonal activities that people enjoy around the world.
From skiing and snowboarding in the Alps to surfing in Hawaii.
It's like weather creates a whole world of possibilities.
It does.
So, as we wrap up today's discussion, it's clear that talking about the weather and seasons in American English is so much more than just making small talk.
It's a skill that can help you connect with people, learn about different cultures, and really enhance your communication skills.
And I love how we've discovered that even a topic as seemingly simple as the weather can lead to some really interesting and unexpected conversations.
Me too. It's all about finding those connections and exploring the world around us through the lens of weather and seasons.
So here's a final thought for our listeners. How has the weather shaped your own life and experiences? We'd love to hear your stories.
Thanks for joining us on Everyday English Pod. We'll catch you next time.